Capitol Hill, I'm joined now by Senator John Barrasso of Wyoming, a member of the Foreign Relations Committee and a chairman of the Senate Republican Policy Committee. Senator, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
I want to pick up on where we left off before the commercial break. Some of the reaction to what Senator Ted Cruz and the GOP frontrunner Donald Trump, what they said they would do. Trump now saying that he would go even further than waterboarding to get people to talk. Senator Cruz proposing the idea of policing what he referred to as Muslim neighborhoods in the United States. What's your reaction?
Well, this shows that national security is going to be a big part of the 2016 election. We're dealing with people where there is a culture of hate. It is a worldwide network. They are targeting citizens, civilians. They're very successful, ISIS is, with their recruitment, and we need to disrupt it. To disrupt it, you need intelligence, you need information. You need to not only connect the dots, you have to be able to collect the dots. And I think that a big part of this election in 2016 is going to be how to collect the dots and then connect them.
So you would support Senator Cruz's proposal of policing what he referred to as Muslim neighborhoods?
What I support are efforts to make sure we can connect the dots and collect the dots, get the information that law enforcement needs. We're seeing it. ISIS is after, I think, our whole way of life, whether it's San Bernardino, whether it's Paris, whether it's Brussels and the European Union. They see us all as the same. They're very successful on the ground in Iraq and in Syria, but now the cancer has spread. They're in at least 9 different locations, and they've gotten much more sophisticated. We see this in the Brussels attack, better communications, better planning, and much more power in terms of what they can do with their arms.
So, Senator, is that a yes or a no that you would support the idea of patrolling Muslim neighborhoods in the United States?
Well, what I understand from what Mayor Bloomberg did, and that the current mayor of New York has done and gotten rid of, that it worked well under Mayor Bloomberg in terms of working with communities to make sure there wasn't recruitment, there wasn't radicalization, because we do know that some of the most forceful fighters that ISIS has are people that have gone to the fight, been trained on the ground in Iraq and Syria, and then have returned. That's what's happened in Brussels. Some come in and disguised as refugees to get into Paris. We know that that's happened with 2 of the attackers. That's why we need to be able to identify people, get the information, and I think the 2016 election is going to be a debate about the techniques and what is done to protect the homeland, because a government's #1 role is to keep its citizens safe at home.
Well, a review of that program in New York did not cite any success with it, and it was largely criticized, not just by the current Mayor de Blasio, but I do want to play with the former CIA and former NSA Director, General Michael Hayden, what he said about Ted Cruz and Donald Trump's comments this morning. Let's play it.
I do think we need to have an adult conversation about the role of Islam and the civil war within Islam. But Savannah, the main point here is, in the United States, we may have radicalized individuals. We do not have radicalized communities. We have it within our ability to create radicalized communities, and some of the rhetoric in the presidential campaign trends us towards that great problem.
Here you have the former CIA, former NSA director saying some of the rhetoric that you and I were just discussing, some of which you did not condemn, could potentially put us in a great problem.
Well, I think you have to call the threat what it is. It's radical Islamist terrorists. And when you take a look at what we are facing in America and the anxiety that exists in this country after the attacks in Europe as well as in the United States, you say, what is the current plan to deal with it? What is the strategy? We were supposed to get a strategy from the administration. They are woefully behind in that, and I think that's why you're going to have such a debate about this in the 2016 election, how to get the intelligence, get the information that law enforcement needs so that we can find and prevent these attacks. These attackers, they have kind of the first strike ability, and then we play catch up afterwards, and they have become more and more sophisticated. In some ways that you can get intelligence, or ways that really shouldn't be discussed in the press at all, because it just gives the terrorists additional information and ways that they can then hide their tracks.
Senator Barrasso, thank you very much for your time. We greatly appreciate it today.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.